pretty different today because we are doing a doll craft. I don't know what I just did with my hands. But anyways, today we will be making a book for an American Girl doll. Now, a lot of you might know how to make this already, but I just want to show you guys how I did mine. And now let me just show you the supplies you will need to make your craft. We'll be showing you guys 2 different ways to make this book today. So the first way we will be doing this is if your book cover printable only has this and it doesn't have a spine or a back, which means you will need paper for this type of book. Then you will need glue. You will need cardboard. Now, if your book is thicker, you'll need 2 or 3 pieces of cardboard, but if it's a skinnier book, you only need 1 piece of cardboard. And I will be using 2 today because I am making a Diary of a Wimpy Kid book. Now, then you'll need a printable. So this one doesn't have a spine or a back, of course, so that's why I will be using the paper. And I have this printable that I just found on Google, and you can find so many different printables. I just have Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Cabin Fever. It's not really focusing. There we go. But anyways, these books will be super cute. Now, also, these books do not open or have a story inside them, of course. So these are more just decor for your doll's bedroom or whatever room you would like to put it in. And so now let's get started on making the craft. I forgot to say, you need scissors so you can cut the paper, of course, but let's just do this. If you have 2 pieces of cardboard, you're going to need to glue them together. So that's the first step we are going to take. Ooh, new glue stick. I love when glue sticks are new. But we're just going to put, you don't need a ton of glue on the back because they'll easily get glued together, and you don't want your glue to dry out, so always close the glue. But yeah, so now we have our 2 pieces of cardboard glued together, and I just recommend using a glue stick. You don't need any hot glue or anything because it's just gluing some cardboard and paper, so it's not something that has a hard time sticking together. Anyways, let's do the next step. We need to basically cut out the back and the spine. So we'll need to take our book as our template, and we're just going to put it on the piece of paper and then cut how tall and wide it is. And it's kind of hard to show while I'm doing it, but we're just going to basically cut it out the same size. And now we have back. And I'm just using construction paper that is a similar color to the book cover. It's not the exact same, but that doesn't really matter because not all books have backs that are the same color. If you can find construction paper that is the same color as your back, then I would recommend using that. But yeah. So now let's move on to the next step. We're going to glue our printable to the side we want to glue it to. I'm just going to glue it to the top side that I have right here. Doesn't really matter what side you glue it to, but we're just going to glue that. Now you can either put the glue on the cardboard and then lay down the paper, or put the glue on the paper and then lay down the paper on the cardboard. But I'm just putting the glue on the paper and laying it down on the cardboard. But I do it different every single time I make a book. And so now we have the cover, but we have to make the back and the spine. Now, if you have, say, a book that only has a front cover and not a back or a spine, but it only has 1 piece of cardboard in between, you're only going to need to make the back for ones that only have 1 piece of cardboard. You don't need to make a spine for those ones because the spine would be really skinny, and that's really hard to cut a super skinny piece. But let's move on to the next step. Now we're gonna glue on the back, so you just flip over your book and you're going to glue on the construction paper that you just cut out. Now for this part, I'm going to just put glue on the back of the cardboard instead of on the paper, but you can do whatever. And for this one, I have a cardstock type of paper, but it really doesn't matter what type of paper you use. This was just the closest color I could find, and it was coincidentally cardstock. So now you have the back of the book, but we still need the spine. So let's move on to gluing the spine. The spine, you are going to use the same paper you used to cut out the back, and you're just going to cut the same length that you used to cut your basically back. So you see, it's kind of hard to show, but I just basically cut the same length that the book was, using the old cutout as a template, sort of, if that makes sense. And now we have to glue on the piece. So let's move on to the next. I'm gonna glue on the spine. Now this is a little harder to like get the paper to stick. So I just put some glue on the spine. Now some glue might get on your fingers, and you're going to try and stick it to the side of your book like that. And then always stick on the left side though, because of course in like America, if you're in America, of course, that's the side where the spine is on, and we read from left to right. But if you're in another country where you read from right to left, then you'll probably need to put the spine on the other side. But it all just depends on where you live. And here's the finished product. Now this will come off a few times until the spine actually dries, so I recommend just leaving the book alone until it dries. And of course I need to close my glue stick. Now I'm going to show you some other books that I made just like this one. Some other Wimpy Kid books I've made. I made the first one and the second one, and I have a bunch of other ones, but these were the ones that I just had on hand, and they're like perfect size for your dolls and great in decor. When you use foam board, you can use foam board, and when you use foam board, it just looks more realistic, because if you use white foam board, it's gonna look like white pages in a book, whereas like you see mine is just kind of brown. It's kind of hard to see because it's a little dark. But these are the books I made that where the printables didn't have a back or spine. Now let's make some printables that did have a back and a spine. So now we're going to make a book where it has the front cover, the spine, and the back. I just printed out these old Nancy Drew ones that I found on Google. And if you are looking for ones that have front and back, which will be easier to make books with, then I recommend searching American Girl doll book printables, and then look up front and back, and then you should be able to find some good front and back covers. And now we also have these things on the side that we are going to fold over when we make the books. But I'm super excited that my dolls are going to get to have these old Nancy Drew books. And if you wanted, you can even make tons of books so that you can have an American Girl doll library. Now let's go and make these books. The first thing we have to do with these printables is cut them out, of course. So you're going to need scissors no matter what way you will be making this. So I'm just going to cut out all these printables. Now the cutting doesn't have to be completely exact, and I'm not the best cutter in the world ever, but I'm going to go cut these off camera, and I'll see you guys then. Cut out all the individual printables. Now, if my ankle's different or a little weird, it's because my tripod fell twice and I had to reset it. And yeah, it was really annoying. But anyways, let me show you the printables up close. Try to get them to focus. They don't really want to focus, but you can see they're all really cute old Nancy Drew books. And they have the spine in the back and the cover. Now the Nancy Drew books are chapter books, but they're a little bit thinner. And so I will be using only one piece of cardboard for this. Now let's go glue it onto the cardboard. So now we're going to glue the printable to the book cover. So this one has these little edges right here, which we're just gonna fold over, but not all books are going to have those edges. So not all books are going to need to fold the edges over. And you don't even need to glue the edges down or anything, you just need to fold them. And that will make the book smaller, but that's okay. And now we are going to glue it on. Now, it's easier to glue on a printable when it has a back and a front and a spine, because it just goes so much quicker. So you're just going to put the printable on that side, and then you're going to flip it over, put some glue on the other side. And you're just going to fold the printable onto the other side. And kind of just get it how you want it. And now I have this little book. It's kind of not focusing, especially because this one is a darker book. As in, like, the front cover is really like a dark color. But here is the book. And it's super cute, and it just looks more realistic, I guess, when it has the spine in the back like this. It looks not the best on the back, but it looks good enough. But it looks better on the front. And I really like this book. Now, of course, this book was a really thin book. It's like a thin chapter book for like first graders, so I just put one piece of cardboard. But if you have a chapter book, or it's a book that is thicker or has more like pages and stuff like that, then you can just put more cardboard or foam board in it. And I'm just gonna do all the other ones off camera, and I'll see you when I have all of those. Here are the Nancy Drew books. I know there are tons of other Nancy Drew books, but these were the only printables I could find. But if you like Nancy Drew and you want your dolls to have the full collection, then you can search for all of them. I like these a lot because they're the older versions of the books, not the new ones. I've only ever seen the new ones. This is my first time seeing like the old ones, and I really like the old ones. Now I'm going to show you some other books that I made that have a front and a back and a spine. Now I made these ones, and I have a bunch of other ones like this with the golden spine. So I have this Tom and Jerry Meet Little Quack book, and the Pokey Little Puppy. This is a classic in my house. And then, of course, everybody should know Tom and Jerry. And basically, these are bigger books because, like, sometimes there's, like, little kids' books are, like, much, much bigger than, like, say, chapter books and stuff like that. And I even have, like, humongous books that are, like looking like Thomas the Train looking fine from when I was, like, 4. And so that was sort of my idea. And I also only used one piece of cardboard for these because these are also thinner books. And I have so many other golden spine books, but these are just the ones I decided to pick because these are like some classics in my house, and I just love them so much. And so here are all the books that we made today. Well, some of these I didn't make today or in this video. A lot of these I made off camera, and I do actually have a ton that I made off camera. I have like a whole book collection. I could actually make a doll library, and actually if you do want to have like say a doll library, then this is a good idea to make like a bunch of different books this way, so that you can just like put them on the shelves so they're more of a display than an actual read. And now I'm going to show you some other examples of things you could use as books for your dolls if you don't have the supplies to make these. If you have a mini American Girl doll, they come with these mini books, which are the perfect size for your 18-inch dolls or your Welly Wishers tab book. So I have the mini doll Grace and the mini doll Kaya, so I have their books. And I always use these as books for my 18-inch dolls, and they just really work well. And the cool part about these books is that they have actual stories inside, and they're so tiny, and they actually work. So if you want a book that actually works, I would recommend just getting a mini doll, because the mini dolls also work as so that your American Girl dolls can have American Girl dolls to play with. So like sort of like if your American Girl doll had an American Girl doll. It doesn't make complete sense. Like, it's hard to word it, but basically, I'll show you what I'm saying in a second. Basically, what I meant is like the mini dolls are perfect size, so my dolls can have dolls. And this is basically what it would look like. So I have my dolls playing with it right now. And also for an example of what the book's like in the room, like I have a pile of books right here, and I have 2 books on her desk, and I have some books in these dolls' room as well, which I will show you right now. Here's their room right now. Basically, it's just one bunk, and then this is just a bunk with like storage and stuff right now, because it's a triple bunk and I didn't need a triple bunk because I was filming a stop motion, and this was only one girl's room and it had 3 bunks, so it wouldn't make sense for one kid to have 3 bunks. And right now the room is basically just a bunk bed, but eventually once I have my dollhouse, they will have so much more in their room. But basically down here in the bed, I put the Tom and Jerry and the Pokey Little Puppy. Then up the ladder, I have this seating area and their dresser that I made. And then I just have the Nancy Drew books and the Diary of a Wimpy Kid book. And that's just basically like where I put them and how I used them as decor. But yeah. Hi guys, thank you so much for watching. Sorry if the camera footage is a little shaky. I'm holding the tripod right now, and it's not just on the ground or anything. But anyways, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you get notified every single time I post a new video, so that you don't miss that AGSM. And also hit the like button because it really helps out my channel. My subscriber goal for the month is 50 subscribers, and I'm 10 away. So please tell your friends or your family to subscribe to me, or also you could like subscribe to me on all your accounts if you have more than one account, because that would really help out my channel. And I'll see you guys all next time. Bye.